So hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about how to pass your theory test first time. So tip number one is to book your theory test. So you can do this on gov.uk, but you need your provisional licence, and that's what you need in order to start driving as well. So yeah, once you've done that, you pick the date, and I actually booked mine, there weren't any spaces till the end of October. I booked mine quite late because I started learning to drive. I started learning this July, so I've been learning for quite a while now, and I'm not too far from taking my test. But I actually didn't do my theory until about 3 months in, so I was a bit lazy, didn't really revise much. I was doing like a bit here and there, maybe once a week for like a few months, and then once I booked it, it was about 4 or 5 weeks before the actual test, and I started to revise more and just do that. Yeah. So tip number two is to choose a way to revise. Sorry, I just have little notes on my phone. So I revise using the app I used. So I'll show you the app. It's called Driving Test Success. Don't know if that's focused, but basically you can just do all the practice questions, and there's all these questions. Obviously I've done more because I've got 100%, but there's about 600 questions on there, so there's so many, and obviously you're only going to be asked 50 of them. So there's so much to do, and then you can do mock test as well, and it can tell you your score of what you would score. So I just kept doing that, and I'm really going to say that you don't need a lot of resources to revise. I've seen loads of people have told me how many resources they've had. They've had books, DVDs, and it just gets so confusing. I would just recommend the app for theory work, and I passed it like that. So I really don't think there's much you need to revise for your theory. I think people go a bit overboard. I didn't pay anything for that, that was free, and that helped me pass. So yeah. And tip number three, you need to then do your hazard perception. If you don't know about the theory, it's split into 2 parts. The first part you're allowed an hour to do, which is hazard perception, which is the theory questions, sorry. And then hazard perception, you're allowed as much time as you like, and it's clicking. But at first I was doing them on my laptop and I was getting all the questions wrong because I just didn't realise how many times or how much times you needed to click the hazard. You need to click once when you see the hazard, then you need to pause and then click again when it is an actual hazard, because you go to the developing hazard, pause, then when it's an actual hazard, and I found that to be quite helpful in making sure I get the hazards. And if you click on like a hazard that's not very significant, such as like a car park with its hazard lights on but it's not actually pulling out, then you still click it, you don't get scored down points for that. So now I'll go on to my actual experience. So when you go into the driving test centre, they just ask for your provisional licence obviously, and then ask you to put your stuff in your lockers, and you have to take your coat off, like any coats you have on, you have to put your bags in there. You're not allowed watches, phones obviously. Yeah, and then I was there quite early. I had my test for 3 o'clock and I got there about 25 to. It's because my mum dropped me off and she needed to go somewhere, so I wasn't that early on purpose. But then I just waited and read you get given these instructions at the driving test centre of like how you need to be in the test, what you're allowed to do and stuff. And then you get called in and they get you to empty all your pockets. It's like a proper, it's not like a pat down or whatever you call it, but it's quite strict. Get you to go in, you're in your own little cubicle and with a computer, and then you start your test. And I did the theory test, but it only took me about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, because I kept checking over just to make sure, because I didn't want to think that I clicked something else when I didn't, so I just reviewed them all a couple of times. And then I went on to hazard perception. You can have a 3-minute break, but I was like messing around with the headphones trying to get them to fit on my head, because someone had like a massive head for the last time they were used, so I was trying to adjust them, so that took about a minute or so. But then I just went, you get 3 minutes anyway, and I just went straight on to the hazard perception, and I found the hazard perception relatively easy because the hazards were quite obvious. And yeah, I really don't think you need to revise much for hazard, maybe about 5-6 times, but I just used the free things online to revise for that. I really didn't find that hard, so you definitely don't need to worry. Just make sure you know most of the, obviously, well, you need to know the majority of the questions for the theory, because to get a good mark. But now I'll go on to what marks I got. So where's my sheet of paper? Here. So this is my sheet of paper, and I scored 46 in the multiple choice, and you needed 43 out of 50, and I scored 62 in the hazard perception. You need 44 out of 75. So I think I sort of did average, not like full marks, but not just pass, so I was happy with that. And I think that's mostly what I've got to say, but really there's nothing to worry about or anything really. So if you would like to see me do my actual practical test, or sort of a review thing on that, talk through, then I can do that for you. And I'm a newbie at this YouTube thing, so if you like it, please subscribe and give a big thumbs up. I'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye!